Greetings, Benjamin J from Ben's Trains with another in the series, a follow-up on that 999 that just arrived. As you see, it's far from perfect, but there's no great amount of damage to it at all. It needs a front lens, a number board, but I've straightened out the motor. The motor is repaired and running. There's no damage to the shell at all. So anyway, this is going to be its first trip around the rail. I ran this on the bench. It's been lubed and somewhat tuned. And I have not pulled the brushes out yet, but just wanted to do a quick video so you can see this thing up and running. First trip around the rail, pulling 10 Lionel cars. As you see, that's 50% power. So $12 on eBay, I bought it for parts, and it's up and running. So obviously I won't be using this for parts. It's running too well for that. So it's missing the front truck, it's missing the rear truck, but the motor's running perfectly, forward and reverse. It has a working headlight. The shell is in really decent condition, so it was definitely worth the $12, there's no doubt. Question is, what am I going to do with it? I bought it for parts. So, no idea. I have a front and rear truck, so I could add them, but I have like 25 999s. So, just this week I was just on eBay looking for stuff cheap that I could buy and use for parts. I've got a 1666 to unbox as well. So anyway, as you see, don't overlook the junk. This thing was $12 on eBay, originally listed at $40. I talked to the seller and said, look, this thing's junk. I buy these things for parts. So it finally came down to $12. And as you see, it was definitely worth the $12. It's running perfectly. Pulling 10 cars. There's no problem with this at all. As you see, runs forward and reverse. It has plenty of power. It's pulling 10 Lionel cars at 50% power. So I'm happy with it. You know, a grand total of, I don't know, 5 minutes and this thing was running. Now it's still a matter of cleaning it up. I've just done some really cursory lubrication and straightened out the bent crossbar. Got it back in its shell, but the shell by itself is worth $12. And there's no damage to it. It's missing the number board and the lens, but I can remake both of those with epoxy. So it's running perfectly. There's nothing wrong with this motor at all. Now it just needs to run. I still even haven't pulled the brushes out and cleaned them yet. And it's running this well. So 2 drops of oil, a shot of WD-40 silicone, and this motor is running. With no problem at all. It's actually running perfectly. So it just needs to run. This thing's been sitting for decades and decades. So get the rust off the push rods. You got yourself a really decent 999 for $12. So in any case, just a quick video. As I always stress, don't overlook the junk. I bought this thing to tear it apart just to strip it for parts, and here it is running. And you saw what I did to it, a couple of drops of oil. So it's not difficult to repair these motors. You know, a lot of people put this on the rail, turn on the power, it does nothing. It's a $10 locomotive, it doesn't run. But a few minutes, no tools required. Usually you can get these things running just by cleaning and lubricating them. And yes, you'll occasionally find the motor that has a bad E-unit, a bad axle, a bad wheel, a bad armature. And that's the whole point of having a supply of parts. Out of one of these motors, you can usually fix 5 or 6 others. So anyway, just a quick video. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email, BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.